Yeah, just obviously a really good win for us today. Thought we played very well in spurts, and I thought Syracuse bothered us at times in spurts. We looked a little bit slow at times. I thought a couple of my big guys have not been practicing lately. They've got some stuff they're dealing with, and we look like a couple guys hadn't practiced as much. But, gritty win. Second half, they really came after us. Obviously, we turned the ball over, my big guys especially. But I'm proud of the way our guys finished. This was a, place got loud in here. It was a tough place to play, and the plays we made down the stretch were significant and obviously won us the game. So really good win in a tough environment.
Coach, when you look at Joe Gerard and what he's done for your team, he comes back here to Syracuse and gets to 2,000 on his old floor, just what he's meant this season and in this game.
Yeah, Joe's been terrific, and we thought he would. We recruited him pretty hard in the transfer portal, and got to know him through that process, and just really knew that he had something about him that was different. He's a winner. He's a mature guy. He poise, right? That's part of the reason I wanted another guard like that. I thought we had a chance to have a really good team, but I wanted another guy that in environments like this at North Carolina, at Duke, he wasn't going to flinch. And obviously today was not easy for him, right? Very emotional. We talked a couple times during the week. I think he handled it very well. Folks need to know he loves this place tremendously, and he's never said anything otherwise down at our place. And obviously he loves Coach Boeheim and the coaching staff and all the players that he's played with, and this place will always have a special place in his heart. But college athletics is different right now, and there was a change here, and he wanted to try something different. And obviously we're very thankful that he did, because he's helped our team tremendously, not only as a player. He's obviously a very good player, but just his maturity, his approach, the way he goes about his business, team guy, everybody gets along with him. And I think it's been really good for him. I think he's really grown through the process. I think this, moving away, being a little more out on his own, having to figure some things out, adjusting to a little bit different lifestyle down there at Clemson, certainly adjusting to a new coach, different style of play. Those are all things that are going to help him moving forward, and that's part of why he made the decision. So this was not an easy trip back for him. I certainly hope that the Syracuse people feel special about Joe Gerard, because I know he feels that way about them.
Brad, I imagine it would be very easy for him to come into a game and get shots up and try to take over, and he didn't. Was that something you guys talked about during the week?
No, every game is different, and obviously Judah, you could tell by the way Judah was guarding him that was his job, was to shut him out and not let him get very many touches. And what's the mark of a good player is their efficiency, right? Their efficiency is what's the mark of a good player. There's a lot of guys that score 20 points and take 20 shots to get them. Guys who are winners figure out how to do it and be efficient players and help make their other guys better. And so, there are times when they're guarding Joe as hard as they are, well, there's space inside for our other guys to operate or chase to drive or whatnot. And so I thought Joe showed great maturity today. He only took 6 shots. I would love to have gotten him 12. We'd love to get him 10 or 12 every night, but some games teams try to take him out. And again, his efficiency was terrific.
Coach, you were just mentioning just the poise of your team. How did Gerard show that poise, especially in the second half when your team was turning the ball over?
Yeah, well, our big guys really struggled with that. Obviously, the free throws down the stretch were crucial, just handling the ball against the press. We ran a really good timeout play, and he knocked it down. And then just the way he was in huddles, right? He was confident. He was calm. He was reassuring his teammates. It was a game where PJ was struggling a little bit. Again, he and Ian have, didn't practice very much since the North Carolina game. I think that game was really hard on them. And so there was a wearing effect. And so they looked, our guys kind of looked at Chase and Joe, that we knew that those guys, because of the way they were guarding some of the other things, those guys were going to have to make plays.
Coach, during starting lineups, you were leading your team in cheers as a lot of the fans were booing Joe. Is that something you guys thought about before the game, and do you think that made it a little bit more personal for him?
I don't know. I was a little disappointed in the boos. I get it, the students especially, that's just normal stuff. But and I hope that most of the fans, I think probably a lot of the fans are Joe Gerard fans and weren't booing him. But I was just supporting my guy. I mean, he's one of us now, right? I mean, he's always going to have a big part of his heart that is Syracuse, but I think he's going to have another shade of orange down there that's Clemson. And, you know, that is something that's good about all of this. And he has built relationships with a whole different set of folks. And obviously he also now has a whole nother set of folks down in Clemson that they're going to help him for the rest of his life also, right? We're not just using Joe for basketball. I'm going to help that young man as long as he needs help for the rest of his life and hope to have a relationship with him for 40 years.
Aside from Joe, game's tied, and you talked about your big guys struggling, but you relied on them down the stretch by going inside. Was that the
Yeah.
strategy?
Yeah, it was a mix, right? I think we have to have a mix. We always try to have a good mix to our game. We talked to PJ about an action we kind of run for Joe, and if they guard it, he and Joe can play, and there's a little oh-no move that PJ used that got to the rim and got a dunk. And so, yes, I mean, there's certainly situations where you're going to need them all, right? You got to get a little bit from everybody. I thought Chase had some very opportunistic drives. You know, Ian is physically struggling a little bit today and didn't quite have his A, but I thought he made some good plays down the stretch. So, yeah, in a game like this, I mean, Syracuse is 11-1 here now. They have some really good wins at home. This place gets loud. It's hard. You got to make winning plays down the stretch. We knew when we got off to a great start, they're going to fight back. Like, there's going to be a run. And unfortunately, I was really disappointed in our beginning of the second half. To be honest with you, my starters did not do a good job at the beginning of the first half or the second half. I thought my bench in the first half gave us the juice defensively to kind of build our lead. And, you know, it took us a while in the second half to kind of have the same kind of defensive presence.
Coach, your team had 21 turnovers today. Could you just explain what Syracuse does so well in terms of cutting off lanes and?
Well, they're smaller, but they're obviously going to pressure, right? Heavy pressure. And I think we thought they would pressure, but it was probably a little more than we realized. Not maybe than we realized, but it was better. And give their kids credit. I mean, I'm a big fan of Malik Brown. I think that kid's a really good player. He makes winning plays. I mean, he's just so – it goes back to my efficiency deal. Like, love dudes like that. He's the lunch pail guy. I watch him on film telling other guys what to do on the team, getting them in the right spots. I mean, that's one of the huge things. Obviously, I feel bad for Red. I love Red. And I feel bad that, like, their bench is depleted because, obviously, if they had McLeod for 15 minutes, it makes a huge difference in the game for them. But Brown being the starter and playing the bulk of the minutes has really helped their team. He's just a really good player.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you all.